Hi, and welcome to this video. In this video, I'll give you some of the highlights about what we've added to the FIGAF 2.13 release. We've added a lot of features to make it easier for you to manage and run your SAP CPI content. We believe we can achieve a lot of these things with some of the functions, and obviously we got a lot more ideas about how to improve this during the next cycle. So one of the first thing is we're trying to make it as easy for you to get started. So you download the application, start it up with a bat file that we also provide with you, show you how to log in, configure all the different steps involved in setting up the system. So it's easier for you to get started. We have also improved the EDI comparison. So when we're doing testing, we obviously want to compare if the message that you sent is equal to the message that we received, and then you can do some ignoring, and you can ignore certain segment fields and specify that in a lot greater detail. So that makes it possible to test even more. We have also improved the documentation capability, so you can document and create an Excel report of every ticket or change that you have made, put it into your documentation tool so you know these are the objects I've changed as a part of this change. And lastly, one of the general things we've done, we have improved a lot in the database handling and fixed quite a few bugs here and there to make it easier to run the application even for larger scales. If we look at the CPI things that we have added, so the first thing we have done is we've made it possible for you to manage packages and value mappings also, so you can transport these in your system independent of everything else. Obviously you want to also transport the iFlows that you have made a change into it. This makes it a lot easier for you to manage the CPI, and obviously these information will also be placed in the Git repository so you can also see them in there. We have also improved the monitor of CPI. So in our CPI monitor, we have now added an option that allows you to, whenever you're viewing an iFlow and the process of this, that you can actually see the persisted messages. So the persisted messages is a better way than using the MPL attachment that we see in most cases, and the reason it's being persisted better and for a longer duration of time and does not have any throughput limit as I understand it. So in the monitor, you can group one or more iFlows together, you can view them all in just one go, and then you can see the persisted messages for the iFlows that you have together with the MPL attachments. So you can go as a migration path and figure out which ones you want to migrate to the other one. One of the big requirements that we have gotten is a lot of our customers are looking at how do we use Git in a better way. And the current way we're doing it is we have our Git repository, or we have our CPI tenant. To that, from that we're synchronizing to the FIGAF tool all the changes to iFlows and value mappings. These we're then putting into the Git repository, and then the user can work on these objects, either pushing it direct or mostly pushing directly to the CPI, or committing something back into the Git repository. And this is the process that we want to improve on. First iteration is now that you will not synchronize the iFlow, but just create an empty shell with all the different packages, and making it easier for you to use the Gradle plugins that we have. So from your IDE, you can download, upload these informations. For SAP PI PO, we've also improved quite a lot. So we have a customer where we are working on migrating their EDI messages from using Seaburger to B2B add-on, and they are leveraging our Seaburger migration tool that take the message mapping, convert them to a B2B mapping, and then they obviously want to test this. And the test data is stored in a separate application, and we have created a way that allows them to access this data, create test cases for all the different customers and vendors, or customers and partners, and test all the flows really simple. So that's a process. So if you are doing a migration and want that, contact us and we can figure out if that's something we can help you create. For this, we've also improved the SAP logging testing. This is where we're using the SAP standard module for logging, so you can log payloads with this module. And this means that you don't need to install our module, but we still recommend the FIGAF module. It does give you some performance improvements to use that. Then for this, we have also added support for Decentral Adapter Engine. So the system will, once it needs to run a test, it will see this iFlow you're testing. Is it on your main engine or a Decentral Adapter Engine? And then it will test on the right platform, making it transparent so you cannot really see where it's going through, but it makes it a lot easier to test these scenarios. So one of the things we also have added is support of mocking for best effort scenarios, synchronous scenarios in PI. So we have a challenge that some customers have confidential data and they want to be able to test that these data works, or they are calling a backend system that does not really reply with anything useful information anymore. What we want to do, or what we've created, is a tool that says, okay, you got this iFlow, replace the current communication channel with a service that called the FIGAF tool, get the payload back, and then on the mapping response, you can then compare and see if everything works smoothly. So this makes it a lot easier for you to test synchronous scenarios and being able to keep them confidential and not send them to any third-party system. We have also added consolidation, and the consolidation is about taking multiple messages in a test case, send them to the PI system, and then find them as a different interface at a later point in time. It does require some configuration. So this could either be that you send it to a BPM process that is doing some handling, and then you would expect that you find some data element at the end, and you have a correlation key between the beginning and the end of this processing. So this makes some of the processing a lot simpler. And then one of the challenges if you're testing a lot of messages is that the FIGAF tool is pretty easy at sending messages, which means that the PI system can be overloaded. What we have created is a tool that just takes and throttle the payload, so you can send 100 messages a minute, whatever makes sense in your landscape, so you're not overloading the PI system. So yeah, it works pretty simple. So that was all the features that I had for you in this release. We will be continuing updating. We have a lot of ideas about different directions that the tool is taking. If you want to get our help or getting to understand the solution, reach out to me, or engage in our chat, or try out the tool and see what we can do. We can also help you install it. Normally it takes an hour to an hour and a half to really get started, see what it can do on one of the platforms, PI, CPI, or API management. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the like, the subscribe button, and also if you want to try it out, go to figaf.com/IRT. Thank you.